Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday morning. It is a blustery day here. Winds are supposed to get up to about 10 to 20 miles an hour. It's pretty chilly right now, but today I have to get after the projects. That the list is just never ending. So I'm going to turn you around and show you some of the things I'm working on. I've been trying to get them done, but only so many hours in a day, and I do work part-time away from the home. Cook all of our meals from scratch, got to do the grocery shopping, pay the bills, run the errands, do all this stuff. So I'm still trying to get it done and give myself some grace to let the to-do list kind of just be there, and when the stuff gets done, it gets done. We're supposed to get about an inch of rain, which is a lot at one time for us. I know some people get like 3 inches in 20 minutes, and that's just crazy, but anyways, so that's supposed to come in tomorrow night through Tuesday morning. And these tomatoes, and I'll show you here in a second, I have the beds numbered. So some tomatoes, they have some green ones on there, they're just not going to turn. I mean, we're getting down into the 40s next week. I think Tuesday is supposed to be high 47, low 40. And they're just not going to ripen, and I need to get the onions in. So I'm going to pull all the green tomatoes off of these that I'm going to show you here in a second. I make a green tomato salsa, kind of like a salsa verde. I use it in, you know, all of like the Mexican soups and casseroles, and just as I would use salsa verde. It tastes really good. It's in that same fermenting can it and ferment it from Stephanie Thoreau. I've linked it before in one of my videos. I'll figure out how to link it. And this one, that's processes still, and it takes hours just to try to troubleshoot it, and I'll get it. So I'm still going to make videos, and they're going up just how they're going up, flaws, errors, and all. But anyways, I'll turn you around and show you what I'm working with. I have a few other little things I'm going to do today. I need to clean the chicken water bowl, and I've been starting to give them scratch again, because that helps them kind of regulate their warmth during the summertime. When we're 110 up for a month, I don't want them to create any more warmth. So, and they get, you know, fruit rinds and leftover melon and fruit scraps and vegetable scraps, so I don't worry about the scratch per se. And then the water bowl, I had been forgetting to do this just because I come out and do it so quick, but giving them apple cider vinegar, a little drop or two, you know, in their water bowl, really helps with their systems too. So, and there was a brand that I had bought, when things, well, they still are, but when things were a little bit worse on the shelf, the normal one that I buy that has the mother in it, I think it's Bragg's, it wasn't in stock, so I had bought the generic one that was on the shelf. Well, I've been using it for this. So anyways, I'm going to get that done up, and I need to start pruning on the east side irises. That over there is just a hot mess. So today's goal is this tomato bed I'm going to show you, get the onions planted, and then start on those irises pruning. So not much anything new. I will give you a quick little update of things, like the broccoli has just exploded. So let me turn you around. So this is what I call bed 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's other beds, but they all have names. Like that's the herb bed, blueberry bed. The north beds are back there. Anyways, this is the one that has the carrots, and the germination on the reseeding is coming along really good. I think I did an oops, but I'm going to just let it do what it's going to do. But see that huge cluster? I think I somehow must have spilled some, or just did it and said to heck with it. That's pretty heavy there too. So I might thin out that area. This one I don't think I'm going to thin too much, but the birds were just eating. They're just helping themselves. So I need to get these, you know, covered up again. There's the the garlic I showed you the other day is really starting to come up. But here's the broccoli. Oh, there's another volunteer potato. I love when that happens. That's actually awesome. I don't think that little guy's going to make it. I'm going to let it do what it's going to do. Maybe it'll be behind. Oh, There's another volunteer potato. This is sweet. Score. Anyways, this is a broccoli. It's taken off. This last week did really good. There's the other volunteers' potatoes. Right there, and right there. I haven't researched if they get along well, but there they are. So hopefully they do get along well. Meaning interplanting. And there's that kind of crazy, wonky, cockeyed one, but if I have to stake it up when the broccoli head forms, then I'll do that. Same with this one. I don't know what happened there, because these all straightened out. See, that one straightened out, but some of these just kind of grew kind of wonky, but that's how it is. Anyways, those two little guys over there, I don't know what I'm going to, I'll just leave them, of course. I might take the, like 5 minutes to pull these weeds, because that stuff, that takes over and I'm in trouble. I don't think that blueberry plant survived the summer. I'm going to prune it back pretty good, and if it's not wick in anything that I prune, I'll just yank it. I need to pull those weeds too. But, oh, here are these potatoes. These were what I planted late as an experiment because they were sprouting in the cupboard. They were from last year's. And I think, because there's one right there, I think that one's finally trying to do something. So that's a good sign. And there's one over there too that hasn't done anything. But that's okay. I mean, there's enough, I have enough volunteer that came up over there to make up for it. So that'll give us a few potatoes to hold us over, hopefully. Be kind of nice. And I need to get stuff on the dehydrator. I think I'm going to do that like later this evening. I'm going to get some chives, more chives, some sage, there's the thyme, there's a weed, and then marjoram. Look at all the new growth on the marjoram from when I planted it. Look at all that new growth. I had to borrow some of that soil, so I'm going to replace it today. Something that we had, I wanted to pot up. Oh, I had bought Gene, my husband, a Christmas cactus. I think there's another name for it, but it was just a little guy, so I potted it up. But here's the cauliflower, the volunteer onion, because this was the onion bed last year. So this is all the cauliflower. That one actually came back, so that's exciting. And then there's the Brussels sprouts and the kale. So I think we're doing good. Here's the Roma tomatoes. This thing is loaded. I mean, hundreds. I mean, I should be able to get, I'm hoping, 2 batches of sauce. I do see some blossom end rot in there because I haven't been able to get in there to get the calcium. But, I mean, there's going to be a few sacrifice. That's okay. And hopefully the rain, it's not supposed to rain right now, but so I'm just leaving them. And then here's the yellow onions. They've really kind of got with the program. I haven't been watering the last few days because it was supposed to rain, and it didn't. Last night it had a really weird kind of almost like a mist, like a really, well, the air was damp, but it was really like misty. I mean, the ground was wet and your hair was wet. When I came out to close up the chickens, it was, I mean, I was getting wet. But so yeah, see, there's some green tomatoes on there. I'm gonna get those pulled real quick. And then there's just a lot of disease already starting to happen. They're just done. And there's no red ones. I think there's been like 2 or 3. So I pulled those and we've been eating them on our sandwiches. But yeah, this plant over here is diseased. And these won't turn before I need this bed. So you see, yeah, this plant's diseased. So it's going to go down to the brush pile. And then Jean's going to come out and help me in a little bit. But I'm going to go through and pick off what green tomatoes I see. And with green tomatoes, yeah, they'll ripen on the counter. They won't taste the same. This one might. If they start to turn, then yes, you can ripen them on the counter and they'll taste like a good tomato. Green ones, yes, they'll ripen on the counter, but they won't taste the same. So those are the ones I'm going to use for the green tomato salsa. So I'm going to set the phone down and get after this, or I'm going to do the chicken water real quick and give them their little snack. Then I'm going to get after this. I told him if these were to be standing up straight, they'd be over 9 feet tall. I mean, because that's draped over and touching the ground. And that's 2 feet off the ground. And that's, let's see. This is probably where my eyes are. I'm 5'2", so, I mean, that's right there, probably as tall as I am. And then all of that. So yeah, they would be probably 5 to 10 feet tall if they were standing upright. Anyways, I kind of like this method, and I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave this structure up. That way we can wrap it with frost cloth. The onions should be okay, but just in case. And then the other beds, I'm going to disassemble what's going on with them when I get the time to. And then it looks like this bed was a cover crop. And last fall to spring, and I think some of that stuff is what's left over, because I just did the chop and drop. So it's green, like the green manure fertilizer. It was all the cover crop blend that was supposed to really help amend soil, because this had been tomatoes for 4 years and they didn't do very good last year. So I'm not a huge component on having to rotate every year. I think if you take care of the soil and amend it how you're supposed to, you shouldn't have to. But I did switch it up just to kind of give it a little bit of a break and give it some more nutrients. And then I went out of that crappy dirt. So mad at myself. So once these onions come out and the carrots come out in the late winter, early spring, then I'm not pulling that dirt, but I'm going to get some mushroom compost tea on there and really give it a good dose of some vitamins. And this I did buy some organic raised bed mix. Just one bag, just to spread a really thin layer over each side. I have some bone meal I'm going to include in there, and then some espoma plant food. So between all three things, I think it'll give it a little bit of a kickstart for the onions. Anyways, so I'm going to get after it. So stay tuned. Look at this beauty. It was hidden in there. Who knows what I'm going to find. Goodness sakes. A nice slicer. It's the wrong time of day to be picking it, but that's how it goes. Some of these little green ones that have like a splits on the bottom or blossom and rot, I'm not picking those. A lot of them is split because of the rain. But that's what I've gotten so far. And I'm only on one plant. So I think I'm going to have, like I said, I have enough to, there's some in there that are red obviously, and some that are starting to turn. But the rest of them I should be able to get a batch of that green tomato salsa. Okay, look at that. Holy smokes. I mean, that's right here. That's a lot of tomato plants. Actually, it's not. It's a 3, 6, 12. That's 12 tomato plants. And then I'm going to pull these up. I'm going to pull the marigolds too. And you know what the longest part's going to be? See all this business? Is I can't just leave that. That's what's going to take me the longest, is to get that. Then this. So my husband's off this afternoon. Nice blessing. So he's down putting gas in my quad and dumping the waste bucket. You know, like a garbage can, but we use it for yard waste. So that's what all this will go into. I'm just pulling all the string and tape off. And then I was kind of thinking, because this is supposed to be for, you know, to inspire people. Not everybody has the space to do what I'm doing, what I plan on doing. And there's people that even have more than what I have, of course. But if somebody just had a bed, this is 3 by 12. So you could do 2 3 by 6s, you know, or however. But I was trying to think of what you could do for winter garden if you're in, you know, zone 9. You could do it in 8, but, well, even, you know, 7, probably 6, but that's getting into some frost already, and some things might not make it. But what you would do is you'd put all the stuff that is smaller facing south of the bed, and then the stuff that's going to be taller in the back of your bed that's on the north end. So this is the south end, that's the north end. So if I were just to plant this one bed here, I know those broccoli and the cauliflower and such, those are going to get about 2 feet tall. So those I would probably save for like the middle. I would do my spinaches and lettuce here up front. Also figure out what can be planted with each other too. Remember, the onions can't be planted with certain things. But you could also do sides of the bed versus another side of the bed. So if you wanted to sow like carrots and beets and such on half of the, like so, half and half of this bed, you know, just where the sun, where they're going to get the most sun. And for me, this is facing east. So if I were to plant this bed, just one bed, I would do carrots and beets here, my spinaches and lettuce here. Then the middle of the bed would be my brassicas. So the broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts at the very back, because they're going to get the tallest. And that's how I would tackle it. Come springtime, and I'll probably go over it again, but just, I mean, we're going to have to start thinking about seeds for our spring and summer gardens here in a couple months. So we're going to try this again. The battery went dead, so we're going to, hopefully the wind doesn't do this too bad. But I got the rest of the tomatoes pulled out and all the debris cleaned up. Husband Gene is able to help me. I told him I feel guilty. I feel like I'm cheating. I have he's usually working almost every day. So to have him help on this today is very wonderful. So he's going to get the tomato debris taken over to the brush pile for me so that I can get these beds topped off with this organic raised bed mix. I'm going to get some fertilizer put down. Then I'm going to show you real quick the bone meal I made earlier this year. It's just a little tiny bit, but that's just all from the chicken carcass. So after I did chicken bone broth I tried to do it close to 48 hours, and then the bones smush. I mean, you can literally smush them with your fingers. Then I put them in the dehydrator overnight, and then the next day just ground them into this fine powder, so you have your own bone meal and nothing went to waste. So anyways, I'm going to kind of, it's not very much, but I'm going to kind of divide that between each end of the bed. I'm going to put some plant tone down in between, then I'm going to put that raised bed mix on top. And then I'll get the onions planted. So hang tight while I do that real quick. Okay, I got the 2 bags put on there. I ended up giving it about probably a good inch or 2 of some pretty good top amendment there. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I was thinking I was going to need more, but I'm trying to fix that dirt that's underneath it. So all I can do is just keep adding to it. Like I said, there's probably going to be about well, these won't be harvested until hopefully March. I'm a couple months ahead of the game. So I'm hoping to give these beds a little bit of a rest between planting them for, I'm not sure if tomatoes are going in here this year or if I'm going to be able to develop that yeast side but something will go in there, that's for sure. But if I can give it about a month rest and get some mushroom tea on there, compost tea, whatever the case may be. Just there's some really big fat worms in there that I was pulling up when I was pulling up the tomato stalks. I didn't like having to pull them, but like I said, if they were in ground, I would leave them because that would help aerate the soil. But these are raised beds, so I'm not too worried about it. There's no the only native dirt is what's at the bottom, and that's literally, it's clay soil. But I bet if I were to dig down there, it's starting to develop pretty good. And we didn't have too much settling this year. I mean, I expect some every year, but I would like them to be a little bit higher, about probably halfway the distance where they are now. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. I have soil to plant in, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's see, where are they? They're not too happy with me, that is for sure. There's the red onions. We get those in. I'm going to start these at the back of the bed, because I am going to get those white ones in here too somehow. Not sure. They're just going to be closer together. I've been watching some videos of people planting in. They plant them pretty close together, so I think I'll be okay. So I'm going to get that going, and I'll show you. I think some of my other videos have me planted the yellow onions, but for this particular one. Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you how to do this, hopefully one-handed, but you just separate them out from there. You just dig a little, enough to where I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed. Oh goodness, there we go. Get it in there and tamp it in nice and good. That's what I did on this side. And that's, well, it's about 5-6 inches apart. So this whole side is, let's see, I got 44 planted on this side, and then I got the rest of the white ones down there. There wasn't that many left, so I'm gonna get those in. And then, yeah, what I do on here is I just very carefully just pull them off of there. Try to get as many of the roots as possible, and then I just lay them out. So, yeah, like I said, there was 44 on this side. I'm going to give them a good drink of water, though, because they're pretty dried out. That rain's not supposed to come in until way later. Okay, ended up with 40 on this side. There was, there's probably 4 little guys that were just dehydrated, and they didn't amount to much. So all in all, there's 84 red onions, and I got the rest of the white ones in. That I think is what, 15. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 15, 16. The white onions left. There's a little bit of space right here, not counting down the whole middle. Is I might try beets again, just because they can go together. So I might try beets down the middle here, see what they do, and go in and get those, and at least get them in the ground and get them started. See if they'll grow. Yeah, right down this middle here. That'd be a long row of beets if I can get them. Only been able to get them to grow once. I have no idea. So, if not, that's what the local farmers are for, or Azure Standard is where I ended up getting them last year. I think I bought 25 pounds in February, just because I kept trying, and I wanted to get them done. So my mother-in-law and I spent better part of 2 days pickling them and getting them canned so that we have them. And I've been kind of frugal on using them, but February's just come around the corner, so I'm gonna kind of let him. He eats them more than I do, although I've never liked pickled beets, but these are pretty darn tasty, so I think I might get those in the rotation so we can eat on them. Hopefully this isn't too windy. I'm not going to get after the irises right now. That is one chore that it kicks my butt, well, my back I should say. But I have a little bit of a debris from the tomato, so I think I'm going to get that cleaned up and then first started and watch some football. I haven't watched it all day. So it'll be nice to be able to sit and do that. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, and get you some, hopefully some different content this next week. Right now, this is what it is. So, hopefully you enjoy them, and hopefully someone's learning a little bit off of them. Please be kind to one another, and do what makes you happy.